What's up, y'all? I'm gonna put up two videos. The first video is going to be about taking a knee at the national anthem. Now, I went on Facebook. I pretty much did my rant there about it. I also went on Facebook again that same night and talked to a couple of young men who are putting together a forum where people can call in and talk to them about different issues. It's not always going to be the same issue. All right, and taking a knee at the national anthem was one of the topics they had. I think this was last night. So I kind of jumped in on that one because it's something that I'm pretty much interested in. And my opinion on that is that I think a lot of white America is missing the point in which we are taking a knee. They're riding on what have been told to them by Fox News, Donald Trump, and all the racist people who are just trying to find a reason to hate us more or continuously hate us, saying that now that we are against the country or we're disrespecting the country by taking a knee at the national anthem. And that's far from the truth. You hearing it from a black man, and you've been hearing it from black people, but totally ignoring the fact of the points that we're making. Now, we're taking a knee in a country we love because we want the country to love us back by simply recognizing police brutality and racism in the country that has been going on for a very long time, in which a lot of white America kind of turned a deaf ear and a blind eye to. So this is what we're talking about. This is not against the country. Now, you're trying to make us out to be, you know, some turncoat on the country, but that's not really what it is. Not at all. You're so far from the truth. One is because you're listening to racist people who hate us from the very beginning. I don't need this thing anymore. Been hating us from the very beginning for apparently no reason at all other than the color of our skin. That's about the only reason why, you know, a lot of white America wants to continuously hear or believe all these negative things about all black people. Now, me saying that, I'm also going to add that, yeah, we got bad apples in the bunch of our black race. Sure we do. So do you. You got a lot of bad apples. The skinheads, neo-Nazis, the KKK, and just people who have been raised and constantly fed to hate black people. And now they are adults with power and they're hating black people. And they get into the law enforcement world, and they use their hate and their power to do us harm. And that is one of the reasons why we're taking a knee. Peaceful protests. You ask for peaceful protests, right? This is as peaceful as it gets, taking one knee at the anthem. Why football? Why basketball? Why sports? Look how many people look at sports and love sports. Almost everybody in America. White, black, Spanish, women, children. Everybody watch sports. We love sports. Now, you ask, or you would say, or try to twist this thing about we don't want politics in sports. Well, this is not politics. This is a social crisis. You know, socially we're having a big problem. And the majority of the problem is with the police force. That's one of the problems. The police force, mainly majority white, are not trained to deal with other races other than their own. So, of course, you're gonna have a problem there, because they've been raised with this problem with blacks in the first place, a lot of them. And now they're put out in the communities of black people. And the bad things that they may have heard or seen, they may start coming in encounter with and not knowing how to diffuse the problem. So instead of trying to diffuse the problem, their fear takes over. The hatred kicks in. And then they grab what they feel is going to be their savior, and that's the gun. Most times they shoot out of fear. A lot of times they shoot out of anger. Sometimes they shoot out of pressure from the other police officers. You know? But the bottom line is they're all shooting for the wrong reasons. Not every case. I'm not talking about every single case. If somebody's trying to take your life, literally trying to take your life, then yes, you don't have a choice. Nor do I. Trying to take my life, then I'm going to have to fight back in the best way possible. You know, we're not bashing all the good cases, because we know that there's a mix of cases. But when you see that there's a clear case of a little kid, a teenage boy, getting shot dead without a question asked, ride up on the scene and bow, shoot him, and then try to figure out what happened after he's dead. Come to find out he has a toy gun with him. Okay. Bad decision for the kid to come out with a toy gun. Bad decision for the kid to be pointing the toy gun at cars that are passing by. Bad decisions. Right? That little black kid made a bad decision and it cost his life. How about all the other bad decisions that were made by young white kids that basically had a slap on the wrist, talk too firmly, don't do it again, you know, in a more concerned and caring way, instead of coming out with the gun first thing is to shoot and kill. The compassion level, the concern and care for black people in America by the majority of your police officers that are white, there is zero concern about our life. They don't see us as people. That's why it's easy for them to shoot and kill one of us by accident and try to cover it up like it's, you know, like I just ran over a squirrel. You know, what do we do when we hit a squirrel or a raccoon or a possum? We keep going. You think about it quickly, how disgusting it was to have felt your car ride over that flesh, that live thing, and then you know that you killed it for a quick minute. But as you go further down that road, you could carry on with your life like it ain't even happened. And that's exactly what these police officers are doing to a lot of innocent people who don't deserve to die with minor infractions against the law. And this is what the protest is about. Why does it have to be broken down in this way when you claim to be so intelligent? My white brothers and sisters, you claim to be so highly intelligent. How come you can't see the logic and understand what it is that we're saying? You see, but you do understand. And you put your energies into trying to debunk what we're saying and twist it. And that's what makes you a racist when you do that, instead of look at the truth and the facts of the matters. Sometimes we gotta face it when we're wrong. Slavery was wrong. Y'all had to face it eventually. You faced it and you realized, the majority of you realized that it was wrong. Right? Same thing in this case right here. The police officers, and I do want to add this too, that one of your biggest problems to date, even though they are now a small majority, but they're big enough to get, you know, other good white people or undecisive white people to fall into their belief, you know, because one, it seems like all white people have been taught, not that they practice, but they all have been taught to dislike blacks or people who don't have money. The minorities have no respect for them, you know, like they really don't mean much. But to that black person or that minority, they're very much loved by their family. The good people now. I'm talking about the good ones. I'm not always, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say every single black person, you know, is right and deserve, well, everybody deserve, you know, justice and everything. But, you know, I mean, I feel as a black man, I feel like when a thug that I know is a thug trying to rob people and everything, and they get caught, you know, I think that they should be, without a doubt, prosecuted to the full extent of the law, regardless, right across the board, though. It shouldn't just happen to a black thug. It should happen to any thug, any thief, any crook or killer, any rapist, across the board. What they need to eliminate in the system is that, you know, they get to pick and choose how hard of a sentence they should issue out to somebody, you know. Now, if it's a clear case of self-defense, okay, then you go on the light side because you had to defend yourself. But if it's an obvious case that you just had no real reason to kill somebody, but you just did it because you claim that you feared for your life because they didn't comply. They didn't comply. How about the people who died who complied? And they still get off for killing them. Now, that's where the system is broken and needs to be addressed and fixed. President Donald Trump, he's not going to look at that because he doesn't care. His campaign was one of rip him out of that seat, beat him down, get him out of here, arrest him. You telling me by saying those things at your rallies is one of somebody who's trying to mend the racial problem? How does that sound like it's mending anything? Think about it. How's that mending a problem? By you telling them back in the old days, we will rip them right out of that seat, beat them down. They'll pay a price for coming to a rally and protesting. That is not one of trying to fix a problem. That's trying to encourage people to do more damage to people who oppose them. So when we go out in the streets and protest and it turns out pretty ugly with the police or what have you, you know, it's just angry people wanting to do something and they feel like their hands are tied and they can't do anything about it, so they get to acting crazy in the streets, trying to make a point, you know. Now, is it right or wrong? To me, it's wrong to to tear up stuff and be destructive. Destructive. Did I say that right? Probably not. You know, it's way wrong, and I don't condone it, not at all. I'm a peaceful individual up to a point. And everybody should have that in them, up to a point. How much are you going to continue to be stomped on, mistreated, before you stand up and fight for yourself? That's the same thing you teach your kid when they go into school and there's a bully picking on them every day. Just because they don't like them. Why? For whatever reason the bully chooses not to like your child. So what do you tell your child? Comply, and they'll leave you alone? No, I don't think you do that. I think you teach your kid to defend themselves. Let the authority know and defend yourself. Even if the bully's bigger than you, pick up something and crack that bully upside the head. Fight that bully back. I don't think the child should be reprimanded for defending himself against the bully. And that's the same case we have here in America. The bully is the powers that be, who don't like blacks and are saying things to the police officers. When you have a suspect, don't be easy with them. The suspect might be innocent, but you being rough and hard and cracking them upside the head. Cracking them all upside the head, and come to find out that that suspect is not really the person that you're looking for. And all you get is that, hey man, I'm sorry, you look just like him. That's all you get. You know. But now you got to go and live with what has happened to you. Cracked upside the head. You know, embarrassment. All the negative things that you can think of that, you know, it's like trauma. You know, so, you know, it seemed to make sense when we apply it to your people if it was reversed, right? If it was happening to your people, would you just tell them to comply? Be honest. You white people will not let that continue without a fight. Standing up to the bully. And I don't think that we're wrong for standing up to the bullies behind the power in the United States, like the bad police officers. You shouldn't die with a minor traffic offense, regardless on how upset you are because you're being pulled over again. And they ain't find nothing wrong the first time, or however many times they pulled you over, but here they go again. And then they're harassing and they're talking hard to you. They're talking like, you know, you some, you know, not to be respected type of a person, you know, like you're just a low down dog. You white people don't like to be talked to like that. What makes you think we want to be talked to like that? The good people now, I'm talking about the good blacks, the good minorities, let's put it that way. Okay, so as far as all I'm trying to do is drill home the reason why the protest is even here of taking a knee at the national anthem, and that is only because there have been police brutality across the nation against minorities and even some white folks. I've seen some pretty nasty cases too, but it doesn't add up to how many there are against blacks. So this is a peaceful way, okay, by just simply taking a knee. Here's another way, by me putting out videos like this. It's a protest against the injustice here in the United States. How can you not understand that? Because you don't want to. For the ones who think what I'm saying is racist, that's just reverse psychology. And all my black people listening, don't let that reverse psychology get into your head and you start thinking that the football players and basketball players shouldn't take a knee because we're going against the flag, or we're not or we're disrespecting the flag, or we're going against the country. That's far from the truth. Now we're telling you what it is, and if you just choose to believe the lies that the racist people are putting out there, then that's where you want to be. You want to be with that group who you think is going to accept you. So what you do is turn on your own people. Not listening to what we're saying, because you know, not even trying to be the bridge, being that you are trying to fit in so well. You should be the one talking to your white friends, telling them you got it wrong. Don't listen to the rhetoric, the lies that they're putting out there. We're not against the flag. We're not disrespecting the flag. All we're looking for is respect from our country. We've been looking for that ever since we got here. Okay. So, if this is not clear to you, then it's something you're doing to continue the problem. This is a way to fix the problem. Dialogue about it. It's pretty obvious that we want a peaceful solution. And it's also obvious that a lot of racist white people do not. They need to have an enemy. And we've been the enemy to so-called white people ever since we got here. And all we're trying to do is just get a piece of the American pie. Just as you have. Equality. That's all we want. That is not hard to understand. So, for those of you white people who feel what I'm saying is stupid, it's racist, it's just not right, you need to take a real good look at yourself deep inside. Slow down off your racist high horse and think honestly about the way you feel right now when you hear me talking to you. And to all my brothers and sisters, we got to do way better with standing together. We got a problem. I'm addressing the problem with the racist white people, and I'm addressing the problem with the ignorant black people. We need to stand together better. Stop posting all of our problems on Facebook and social media. Stop thinking that it's funny. You're showing the disrespect to your own people. That's another topic I'll get into next time. And trust me, I got some things I need to say to my people. But this does not mean, okay, that I'm agreeing with racist white people. Okay? Let's just get that straight, because everybody got a bunch of bad apples. And y'all better remember that. Okay? We got ours, but we're willing to deal with it. And y'all got yours, which you refuse to deal with. You seem to accept and let them continue and feed them more rope to do more damage, instead of trying to put the brakes on them by joining them. When you don't do it, all right, you say, I'm not out there at those KKK rallies, so I'm not, I don't believe in what they're doing, but you don't say anything against it. That's just as allowing it to happen. That's just like me. If I see a bunch of black people doing something wrong to white folks and I don't say anything about it, I am a part of the problem. Just like you are the part of the problem if you don't say something to your people and you know who they are. And if they're in politics, you know who they are. Why would you vote for a person who is condoning the racism? That makes you a part of the problem. It's not hard to figure out. It's really simple. You continuously tell us how intelligent you are. You talk with all these fabulous words. You really know how to put some conversation together and prove your point. Let me ask you this, white American. I heard this from a professor, and it was so profound, man. It is deep in me, and I use it now myself. I want to ask you a question, white American. Would you want to trade places with me as a black man here in America? Make your comments. Yes or no? White America I'm talking to. Would you want to trade places with me? I wouldn't mind trading places with you. Hey, trust me, you know? I'd love to have that type of privilege, you know? But it ain't like that. Would you like to trade places with me? And honestly answer that. And in your answer to that tells you, and it tells me, you know there's a problem. I'm gonna go ahead to the next one, y'all, because there's something else I need to talk about. We're gonna let this one go ahead, ride itself out, and let's see if anybody's gonna be honest and say anything. Okay? If you're honest about it, hey, let's talk. You know what I mean? And you know how you feel. You know what you've been taught. Even if your parents didn't teach you, your friends growing up did. You know. Right? Media tells you that. Newspaper, Fox News, they tell you all these negative things about us. The protest, I'm going to say it one more time. The protest by taking a knee is against police brutality and racism in the United States. Put your thinking cap on. All right? Peace out, y'all. I'm trying to get some good lighting here because it's getting dark. But anyway, I'm going into the next one. Love you all. I love all of those who love me. And I'm trying to love my enemies too. But don't think I'm going to be your daggone stepping mat. Because I'm not. Okay? Peace out, y'all.